Okay guys, so what we've got here is a Canon VIXIA HFR 600. We used to use this for our YouTube videos and general video filming and stuff. And I had it down at the shop and was doing a how-to video, and I can't post it because the footage is ruined because I got it too close to the welder. I don't know if you can see these spots on the lens or not, but it's melted into it where the sparks hit it. It's a little hard to see with the camera here, so I've called Canon and they don't offer any parts for the camera. They only offer a replacement. They basically want to do a replacement deal where you have to pay them for a camera, and they wanted as much for a replacement as I could buy a refurbished camera for, but the newer model. So we bought the Canon VIXIA HFR 72, which is what we're filming on now. I dug around on eBay, and it took a couple of months, but I finally found a guy in Georgia on eBay that is parts for camera, and I'll put a link to his eBay down in the description. But he actually had a zoom mechanism listed for Canon VIXIA, and it had the lens attached to it, but I don't need the zoom part. I just need the lens part with the 3 screws that hold it on. So after a couple of emails back and forth, I sent him a photo of exactly what I needed. He sent me this piece. Part shipping and everything was $35. I've had the camera apart ready, but I know it can be replaced. Now today I'm actually going to disassemble the camera and replace the lens in it. To do it, we're going to have to take all the screws out of it. It's not that bad of a job, but it is a little tedious. You just have to get all the screws out of it. Got a couple of micro screwdrivers here. These happen to be pink. They came out of Beth's toolkit, but hey, they get the job done, so that's what we need. I'm going to go ahead and take all the screws out of it, and probably what I'll do is fast forward the video through me taking these screws out. I don't see a reason in you sitting here watching me take each individual screw out one at a time. It'd be relatively boring, but basically you have to take every screw out that's visible on the exterior of the camera. At the end of the day, if we can fix this camera for $35, I mean, we're not out all the money that we spent on the camera originally, and it gives us a secondary camera to shoot B-roll footage with that shoots the same video format as our HFR 72 does. You know, that way when we go back and post edit, we can easily match it up. Now there's if memory serves me correct, I've got to get the top off of it to get one screw out of the front lens cover in order to get access to it. And what they do is they've got a little rubber tab that's over the screw. It's kind of like a little rubber bumper for the LCD display. When you close it, it doesn't just slam shut. It's got just a little rubber bumper on there. So now we can take that last screw out, and hopefully the top's going to pop out of it, and I can get in and get that last screw out that we need to remove the front cover. Well, let's see. I can't remember. I gotta take this screw out of the housing here that holds the 2 metal plates together. Once I get it out, hopefully I can get it to separate without taking the ribbon cable apart. I really don't want to unplug that ribbon cable unless I absolutely have to. trying to remember if there was any other screws in it. I can't remember for sure. I think it's basically just a matter of, I gotta get there. Alright, finally. We got the cover loose. We'll flip it back out of the way and I can get to the screw that's holding the front lens cover on. I mean, there's no point in unplugging all the ribbon cables and taking the LCD display off and everything else when all I have to do is remove this. Now, we've made it in. So now we've just got the 3 screws on the front that's got to be removed. There we go. One more to go. Now this one over here is actually really close to this ribbon cable that runs out to the LCD display. So you need to be really careful not to damage that ribbon cable, because then the LCD display is not going to work. Well, there's our lens off. And I don't know if you can see any better now that we've got it out of the camera, but you should be able to see the specks on the front where it's actually melted. It's actually a plastic lens instead of glass. And when you film with them, it leaves like little halos in the image. And if you're familiar with still photography, they look like little dust spots that were on a sensor when you take a picture. It's really annoying, and it pretty much ruins the footage. I mean, it's not usable. I can't believe that, you know, after all this time I took the camera down there and put it that close, but it happens. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to do filming, you're going to tear up a camera eventually. I mean, it's a given. It's just human nature. I mean, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. And, you know, this is my mistake. So, hopefully, I can get this back on and we'll get the camera put back together and get a little speck off of it here. Alright. Yeah, there's a little flake of dust or something there. So, we'll get the screws put back in. And then hopefully everything's going to work like it did beforehand. I mean, the camera worked great with the exception of the spots on the lens, which basically rendered the footage useless. I guess I could have used it for a sound recorder because that was about all it was good for, really. But we'll get the screws in, and there again, this third screw going in over here is right beside that ribbon cable for the LCD. Be careful going in and, you know, putting it in. The last thing we want to do is pinch or tear that ribbon cable or damage it. Try to turn it in nice and easy. And then, you know, it's here I am trying to be nice and gentle when the screwdriver slips off and I about tear it again. So now all we've got left is to put everything back together in reverse order the way we took it apart. And this bracket right here has to go underneath the housing. If it doesn't go underneath the housing, then the screw's not going to hold it together because the threads are in that bracket. It has to be underneath it. So once I get all the tabs and stuff lined up, and it's a little aggravating considering the ribbon cable and stuff still attached to it. You need to tilt it out more, but it can be done. You just have to be real gentle with it and take a little finesse and a little bit of tweaking, and it'll snap right into place just like that. This little rubber bumper has to be put back on that I had taken off before, and I just left them stuck to the end of the micro screwdriver here so I could just come back and slide it right off onto it and stick it right back on and not get any dust in the adhesive and things of that nature. I'll do this other one inside where the LCD display's at, and we'll get this screw put in and get the rubber bumper put back on it that's stuck on the other screwdriver. And then once we get these two put in place, the one on the bottom and the one on the side here, we'll go ahead and put the rest of the screws in and cross our fingers and hope it powers up and everything works fine. Which, I mean, we really didn't unplug anything, so it's pretty much downhill from here. Alright, so if memory serves me correct on this cover here, there's a long screw and a short screw, and I think the long screw goes in the back, but I guess I'm wrong. The short one goes in the back and the long one's going to go up front. So there's that. We'll hook our strap back on just so we can say we finished reassembly exactly the way it was. Put that on, and now we're ready to stick a battery on it. And battery's on it. We'll get it set here and let you see it when we open it. And there it goes. Camera's on. It doesn't have a memory card in it right now, so it's gonna argue with us and tell us that we don't have a memory card. So we'll check the zoom out. Zooms in, zooms out, and record button seems to be functioning, so it's still connected. It's telling us there's no memory card in it. Touch screen there, we got a focus point. Take it off, then we can access our menu, and there we go. So hey guys, it's got our Canon VIXIA fixed. We'll close the front cover to protect the lens, and here's the old lens that we'll probably chunk in the trash because it's really no good. But I really hope y'all enjoyed the video, guys. Give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, and be sure and hit that bell so you can get the notifications when we release new videos, because we're going to come out with some more. And thanks for tuning in.